Hi everyone, my name is Lizzie and I'm gonna read you a story. It's called First Grade Stinks by Mary Ann Rodman, illustrated by Beth Spriegel. First grade stinks. First day, first grade. I sing, can't wait. We're big kids now. Haley, says my friend Ryan as we get off the bus. Little kids stand at the school door, holding their parents' hands. Not Ryan and me, we walk into school all by ourselves. Hi, Miss Lacey, we called to our teacher from last year. Hello, Haley. Hello, and Ryan. Miss Lacey's shirt is the color of daffodils. Her sneakers match. Inside her room, the dragon kite still hangs from the ceiling. Cutout of leaves cover the wall. Kindergartners push through the door. Kindergartners don't know how to act, I say. Poor little kindergartens, Ryan says. We first grade know how to act. We find a new room. Our teacher's shirt is the color of their leaves. She wears ugly brown sandals. Good morning, she says. My name is Miss Gray. Find the desk with your name on it. She gives us a tiny smile, not a sunny morning smile like Miss Lacey's. This room does not like Mrs. Lacey's. Nothing hangs from the ceiling, nothing on the walls, just alphabet letters from the chalkboard. No kite, no cars, no fun. Ryan, Haley, Alex, Jenna, and Ryan and Trey, I think. Ryan here, Erica here, Kiri, yo. Mrs. Gray calls the roll. We stand by our chairs and say who we are and what we like best. And Mrs. Gray says, time to write our A's and B's. Sasha raised her hand. We had shared time right in kindergarten. Mrs. Gray shakes her hand. We are too busy for shared time right now. Ryan, please hand out writing paper. No fair. Mrs. Lacey always let me hand out the paper. No share time, no dragon time, no smiley teacher in daffodil shirt. No first grade stinks. But when the kindergarten kids march by our door on their way to first recess, Miss Grace said, time for art. She passes around crayons and paper. I raise my hand. Isn't it time for recess? In first grade, we have only one recess, says Mrs. Gray. In first grade, we have only one recess, says Gray. I like art, but I'd rather have recess. Mrs. Gray looks at our pictures. Haley, what's an interesting sky? She says, but not like she means. I like orange sky, so did Miss Lacey. Mrs. Gray hangs Key's picture in the front by the chalkboard. His sky is blue. I want to draw my crayons in Keurig. First grade stinks, I tell Ryan at recess. I blinks. I like first grade. I want to pinch Ryan. After After recess, we read some more. Haley, your A's and B's are not the same. Mrs. Gray, read them again, please. I look at Ryan's letters. They're exactly like the ones over the chalkboard. Eyes on your own work, Haley, warns Mrs. Gray. First grade stinks. We go to lunch. There is only vanilla ice cream, no chocolate. The kindergarten kids ate all the chocolate, says lunch good lady. I hate vanilla. Even lunch stinks. Back in my room, Mrs. Gray said, it's story time. Erika raised her hand. What about nap time in kindergarten? We had naps after lunch. No, oh no, I hate nap time. First graders don't take nap, says Mrs. Gray. No nap time. Maybe first grade doesn't always stinks. Mrs. Gray reads a story about a boy and his dog. They're lost and it's dark, and then Mrs. Gray closes the book. That's all for today. Time for math. What happens to the boy and his dog? No fair. Last year, Miss Lacey read us a book with lots of pictures all in one day. Pinky Ball was my favorite in first grade. Even the stories stink. Can we go back to Miss Lacey? I whispered to Ryan. Haley, no whispering, says Miss Gray. I can't stand one more minute. First grade stinks, I yell. My room is very, very quiet. Mrs. Gray comes to my desk. She looks very, very tall. You're in trouble now, says Ryan. I wish Ryan would dry up and blow away. Mrs. Gray kneels beside me. What's wrong, Haley? Writing is hard and there's only one recess and the stories don't end right, I say. First grade stinks. Mrs. Gray smiles. It's a nice smile. That's not the end of the story, she said. Just the end of the chapter. What's a chapter? I asked. It's a part of story. I'll read a chapter tomorrow and chapter the next day. It might take a week to finish the story. Mrs. Lacey read Pinky Book all in one day. I tell her. Mrs. Gray smiles again. In first grade, we read books with chapters. Soon you'll be able to read yourself. Really, I say, all by myself? Happiness wishes inside me. Mrs. Gray nods. That's why we work so hard. It's a lot of remember, isn't it? Once upon a time, a boy and his dog. A smile really big, my heart glows like an orange sky. Mrs. Gray looks like Miss Lacey or acts like Miss Lacey, but she knows how I feel just like Miss Lacey. I can teach her like orange skies. Poor kindergarten, they can't read, they can't nap. Their books don't even have chapters. Kindergarten stinks. First grade is great. Thank you. That was all the book. And if you like the book, give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you next chapter. Bye.